Have you ever felt that invisible hand guiding you toward exactly what you needed to hear at precisely the moment you needed to hear it? That inexplicable force that seems to orchestrate the most meaningful encounters in your life, delivering wisdom when your soul is most receptive to receive it? You are not here by accident. The very fact that these words are reaching your consciousness right now is evidence of a greater intelligence at work, one that Napoleon Hill spent his entire life studying and revealing to those ready to understand its profound implications. There exists a mysterious timing to all things meaningful in this universe, a divine synchronicity that brings the right message to the right person at the exact moment when their mind has been prepared to grasp its significance. You have been searching, perhaps without even realizing it, for something that would unlock the door to your highest potential. Your struggles, your questions, your moments of doubt and desperation have all been preparing you for this encounter with truth that can transform everything you thought you knew about success, abundance, and your own limitless capabilities. The great minds throughout history have spoken of this phenomenon, this cosmic orchestration that seems to guide seekers toward the knowledge they need most. But few have understood it as deeply or explained it as clearly as the man who dedicated his life to uncovering the hidden laws that govern human achievement. Through decades of studying the most successful individuals of his time, he discovered that there are invisible forces at work in our lives, forces that respond to our deepest desires and most persistent thoughts in ways that seem almost magical to those who do not understand their operation. What you are about to discover challenges everything society has taught you about how success really works. It reveals why some individuals seem to attract opportunities effortlessly, while others struggle despite their best efforts. It exposes the hidden mechanism that determines whether your dreams remain forever out of reach or become inevitable realities. This is not about positive thinking or wishful dreaming, but about understanding and aligning yourself with principles that operate with the same reliability as gravity itself. Your life is about to change, not because of what you will learn, but because of what you will finally understand about what you already knew deep within your soul. The timing is perfect. The student is ready. And the teacher, through the timeless wisdom that transcends his physical presence, is about to reveal secrets that will make everything else you have ever learned about success seem like mere preparation for this moment of true awakening. The universe operates according to laws that most people never recognize, laws that govern not just the movement of planets and the flow of tides, but the very manifestation of human desires and dreams. Napoleon Hill discovered through his exhaustive research that there exists what he called infinite intelligence, a force that responds to human thought and desire with mathematical precision. This intelligence does not play favorites, does not judge worthiness, and does not discriminate based on background or circumstances. It simply responds to those who understand how to communicate with it through the proper channels of focused thought and unwavering faith. When you truly grasp this principle, you begin to understand why certain videos, books, conversations, or encounters seem to appear in your life at exactly the moment you need them most. It is not coincidence. It is not luck. It is the natural result of your subconscious mind, working in harmony with this infinite intelligence, drawing to you the resources and knowledge necessary for your growth and advancement. Your deepest desires have been broadcasting signals into the universe, and those signals have been answered by guiding you to this exact moment, to these exact words, at this exact time. The tragedy is that most people dismiss these moments as random occurrences, failing to recognize the profound intelligence at work in their lives. They attribute life-changing encounters to chance, breakthrough insights to good fortune, and transformative opportunities to mere coincidence. In doing so, they miss the most important truth about human existence. that we are constantly in communication with forces far greater than our conscious minds can comprehend, forces that are always working to bring us exactly what we need for our evolution and success. Think about the moments in your life when everything seemed to align perfectly, when the right person appeared, when the perfect opportunity presented itself, when the solution to your problem became suddenly clear. These were not accidents. They were demonstrations of this cosmic intelligence responding to the signals you had been unconsciously sending through your thoughts, emotions, and desires. The more clearly you understand this process, the more deliberately you can participate in it. Your current circumstances, no matter how challenging they may seem, are actually the perfect setup for your next breakthrough. Every obstacle you have faced has been developing within you the mental and emotional strength necessary to handle the success that is coming your way. Every disappointment has been teaching you what you truly want by showing you what you do not want. Every moment of struggle has been preparing you to appreciate and maintain the abundance that this understanding will bring into your life. The reason you are watching this video right now is because your subconscious mind has been actively seeking the final pieces of knowledge needed to complete your understanding of how success really works. You have been unconsciously preparing for this moment through every book you have read, every conversation you have had, every experience you have lived. All of it has been leading to this revelation that will connect all the dots and show you how to consciously cooperate with the very forces that have been trying to help you all along. What Napoleon Hill understood better than perhaps any researcher before or since is that success is not something you achieve through struggle and force, but something you attract through alignment with natural laws. When you understand these laws and learn to work with them rather than against them, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. What once required tremendous effort begins to flow naturally, and what once felt like fighting upstream becomes like sailing with the wind at your back. The human mind possesses capabilities that dwarf the most sophisticated computers ever created, yet most people use only a tiny fraction of this incredible resource. Within your consciousness lies a direct connection to the same intelligence that governs the movement of galaxies and orchestrates the perfect timing of every natural phenomenon. This is not mystical speculation, but observable reality, documented through the experiences of every truly successful individual who has ever lived. Your thoughts are not just electrical impulses firing randomly in your brain. They are creative forces that shape your reality with the same precision that blueprint shapes a building. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every image you hold in your mind is sending out vibrations that attract corresponding circumstances, people, and opportunities into your life. The universe is not only listening to your thoughts, it is actively responding to them by rearranging itself to match your dominant mental patterns. This is why Napoleon Hill spent so much time studying the thought patterns of successful individuals. He discovered that they all shared certain mental habits that automatically aligned them with favorable circumstances. They thought in terms of possibilities rather than limitations. They held clear, specific images of their desired outcomes. They maintained unwavering faith in their ability to achieve their goals, even when current evidence suggested otherwise. Most importantly, they understood that their thoughts were their most powerful tools for creating the life they wanted. The reason most people struggle to achieve their desires is not because they lack ability, resources, or opportunities. It is because they have never learned to direct their mental energy in a focused, consistent manner toward their goals. They allow their minds to drift from worry to fear to doubt, sending out confused and contradictory signals that attract confused and contradictory results. They think about what they want for a few minutes, then spend hours thinking about what they fear, what they lack, and what seems impossible. Your mind is like a powerful radio transmitter, constantly broadcasting signals that determine what you will attract into your experience. When you learn to tune this transmitter to the frequency of your desires, when you learn to maintain that frequency consistently despite temporary appearances to the contrary, you begin to witness what seems like miraculous changes in your circumstances. Opportunities appear from nowhere. The right people enter your life at the perfect moment. Solutions to problems reveal themselves with startling clarity. This is not about forcing outcomes through willpower or manipulating circumstances through clever strategies. This is about understanding that there is a natural order to the universe, and when you align your thoughts and emotions with this order, you begin to move in harmony with forces that can accomplish far more than you could ever achieve through effort alone. You become a magnet for the very things you desire most, not because you are trying to attract them, but because you have become vibrationally compatible with them. The timing of your discovery of these principles is not random. Your life experiences have been preparing you to understand and apply this knowledge in ways that will seem almost effortless compared to how you have been approaching success up until now. Every challenge you have faced has been developing within you the character traits necessary to handle greater levels of success and responsibility. You have been unknowingly enrolled in a cosmic curriculum designed to prepare you for the life you have always dreamed of living. The most successful individuals throughout history have understood something that escapes the majority of humanity. That visible results are merely the physical manifestation of invisible causes that were set in motion through the power of thought long before any external action was taken. Every great achievement, every breakthrough invention, every transformative movement began as an idea in someone's mind that was nurtured, developed, and held with such clarity and conviction that it eventually had to manifest in the physical world. Napoleon Hill called this the starting point of all achievement, and he discovered through his research that it operates according to specific principles that can be learned and applied by anyone willing to discipline their thinking. The most important of these principles is that thoughts backed by emotion and faith become magnetic forces that attract whatever is necessary for their realization. This is not wishful thinking or positive affirmation, but a fundamental law of creation that works whether you believe in it or not. Your current reality is the perfect reflection of your past thinking patterns. Everything you see in your life right now, both the things you love and the things you wish were different, originated as thoughts in your consciousness that were energized by emotion and repeated until they became beliefs. These beliefs then directed your actions, influenced your decisions, and determined what opportunities you noticed and which ones you ignored. Your outer world has been shaped by your inner world with absolute precision. The incredible news is that this same creative process is always available to you. Right now, in this moment, you can begin thinking thoughts that will create an entirely different future. You can hold images in your mind of the life you truly want to live. You can feel the emotions associated with already having achieved your goals. You can develop unshakable faith in your ability to transform your circumstances. And when you do this consistently, with clarity and conviction, the universe must respond by bringing you the means to make these mental images physical realities. This is why certain information comes to you at exactly the right time. Your consistent thinking about your desires has been sending out signals that have attracted this knowledge to you. The same intelligence that guided you to this message is constantly working to bring you everything else you need for your success. Your job is not to figure out how everything will happen, but to maintain clear focus on what you want and remain open to the infinite ways it might be delivered to you. The individuals who seem to lead charmed lives, who appear to effortlessly attract success, relationships, and opportunities, are not necessarily more talented or deserving than you. They have simply learned to think in ways that automatically align them with favorable circumstances. They have developed mental habits that keep them tuned to the frequency of their desires rather than the frequency of their fears. They understand that their thoughts are their most valuable possessions, and they guard them accordingly. Your breakthrough moment is not some distant future event. It is happening right now as you begin to understand these principles and recognize them operating in your own life. Every time you have experienced what seemed like perfect timing, every time the right answer appeared just when you needed it, every time circumstances aligned in your favor, you were witnessing these laws in action. The only difference now is that you can begin to cooperate with them consciously and deliberately. The bridge between where you are now and where you want to be is not built with struggle, force, or desperate effort. It is constructed through the steady application of mental discipline, emotional alignment, and unwavering faith in principles that have never failed anyone who truly understood and applied them. Napoleon Hill discovered that every person who achieved lasting success had learned to work with these invisible forces rather than against them, to flow with natural laws rather than resist them. Your desire for a better life is not selfish or unrealistic. It is the natural expression of the creative intelligence within you seeking to express itself more fully through your experiences. Every genuine desire you have is actually a signal from your higher self indicating the direction of your growth and evolution. These desires are not planted in your consciousness to torture you with what you cannot have, but to inspire you toward what you are meant to become. The reason you feel so drawn to certain dreams and visions is because they represent the natural unfolding of your potential. Your deepest desires are not random wishes, but glimpses of the future that is trying to emerge through you. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with these authentic desires, you begin to move in harmony with the natural flow of your life, rather than swimming against the current of your own evolution. Most people make the mistake of looking at their current circumstances and concluding that their dreams are impossible. They use what is as evidence for what cannot be, forgetting that everything that exists today was once considered impossible by those who could not see beyond their present limitations. Your current situation is not a life sentence, but a starting point. Not a final verdict, but raw material for transformation. The intelligence that brought you to this message is the same intelligence that has orchestrated every breakthrough in human history. It is not reserved for a special few, but available to anyone who learns to think in harmony with its operation. This intelligence is not outside of you, but within you, not separate from you, but the very essence of who you truly are. When you recognize this connection and learn to trust it, seemingly impossible things begin to happen with remarkable consistency. Your life is about to change not because you will suddenly become a different person, but because you will finally understand who you have always been beneath the layers of doubt, fear, and limitation that society has taught you to accept as truth. You will discover that the power you have been seeking outside yourself has been within you all along, waiting for you to recognize it, claim it, and learn to use it consciously. The synchronicities that have led you to this moment are not ending here, but just beginning. As you start to apply these principles, you will notice an increasing number of meaningful coincidences, helpful encounters, and perfectly timed opportunities appearing in your life. This is not because you are becoming luckier, but because you are becoming more aware of the constant guidance and support that has always been available to you. There comes a moment in every person's journey when they must decide whether to continue living according to the limitations imposed by others, or to claim their birthright as creators of their own destiny. This moment is both liberating and terrifying because it requires you to take full responsibility for your life, while simultaneously trusting in forces beyond your complete understanding. You are being called to this moment of decision right now. The path of least resistance is to continue believing that success is determined by factors outside your control, that some people are just lucky while others are destined to struggle, that your circumstances are fixed and unchangeable. This path requires no growth, no risk, no faith in anything greater than what you can see with your physical eyes. It is the path chosen by the majority, and it leads exactly where the majority ends up. The path of conscious creation requires you to accept that you have far more power than you have been taught to believe, that your thoughts and emotions are creative forces that shape your reality, that the universe is not indifferent to your desires, but actively conspiring to fulfill them when you learn to cooperate with its laws. This path demands everything from you while promising everything to you. It is the path chosen by those who refuse to accept limitation as their final answer. Napoleon Hill understood that this decision point comes to every person, usually multiple times throughout their life. He observed that those who chose the path of conscious creation, despite its challenges and demands, eventually discovered capabilities within themselves that they never knew existed. They developed unshakable confidence, not because their lives became easy, but because they learned to trust the intelligence that governs all successful endeavors. Your willingness to watch this video until this point demonstrates that you have already begun to make this choice. Something within you refuses to accept that your current circumstances represent the full extent of your possibilities. Something knows that you are capable of far more than you have yet experienced. Something is calling you toward a larger version of yourself that exists beyond your current limitations. The next phase of your life will be determined by how completely you embrace this calling. If you choose to apply these principles half-heartedly, while secretly doubting their validity, you will get half-hearted results that confirm your doubts. If you choose to apply them with complete commitment, despite what others might think and despite your own fears, you will discover why Napoleon Hill called these the laws that never fail. Your success is not dependent on your past, your background, your current resources, or your present circumstances. It is dependent only on your willingness to think in new ways, to feel emotions that match your desires rather than your fears, and to act with faith in principles that have transformed millions of lives throughout history. Everything you need to begin this transformation is already within your reach. The moment you fully accept that your thoughts are creative forces, your entire relationship with life changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a conscious collaborator with the intelligence that shapes all successful outcomes. You realize that every challenge is actually an opportunity to develop greater mental discipline. Every setback is feedback helping you refine your approach, and every delay is simply the universe orchestrating the perfect timing for your breakthrough. This shift in perspective is not just philosophical, but intensely practical. When you know that your mental state determines your external experiences, you become extremely selective about what thoughts you allow to dominate your consciousness. You realize that worrying is actually working against your goals, that dwelling on problems only creates more problems, and that maintaining faith in your desires despite contrary appearances is the most practical thing you can do. The successful individuals that Napoleon Hill studied all developed this understanding through experience. They learned that their emotional state was more important than their circumstances, that their dominant thoughts were more influential than their current resources, and that their level of faith determined their level of results. They discovered that success is an inside job that manifests as outside results. Your emotions serve as a constant feedback system, letting you know whether your thoughts are aligned with your desires or working against them. When you feel excited, inspired, hopeful, and confident, you are thinking thoughts that support your goals. When you feel worried, frustrated, doubtful, or discouraged, you are thinking thoughts that work against your success. learning to recognize and consciously direct your emotional states is perhaps the most valuable skill you can develop. This is why the timing of your encounter with these principles is so crucial. You have reached a point in your life where you are ready to take complete responsibility for your mental and emotional states, rather than allowing them to be determined by external circumstances. You are ready to become the conscious director of your own thoughts, rather than their unconscious victim. The intelligence that guided you to this message knows exactly what you need to hear and exactly when you need to hear it. This same intelligence is constantly working to bring you every resource, opportunity, and connection necessary for your success. Your role is not to figure out how this will happen, but to maintain alignment with your desires through disciplined thinking and emotional consistency. As you begin to apply these principles more consciously, you will notice that life starts to feel less like struggle and more like an adventure. Obstacles become interesting puzzles to solve rather than insurmountable barriers. Delays become opportunities to prepare for greater success rather than evidence that your dreams are impossible. Other people's skepticism becomes irrelevant because your confidence comes from understanding principles rather than depending on approval. Your life story is being written right now, in this moment, through the thoughts you are thinking and the decisions you are making. Every truly successful person has had to reach a point where they decided to stop living according to other people's limitations and start living according to their own possibilities. They had to stop waiting for permission and start claiming their power. They had to stop looking for guarantees and start acting on faith. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who settle for ordinary lives is not talent, education, connections, or luck. It is the willingness to think thoughts that most people are afraid to think, to feel emotions that most people try to avoid, and to persist with their desires when most people would give up. It is the courage to bet everything on principles that cannot be proven in advance, but only demonstrated through application. Napoleon Hill spent his entire career documenting these principles, not because he was trying to sell people false hope, but because he had witnessed their power to transform lives in ways that seemed miraculous to those who did not understand their operation. He knew that these laws work with mathematical precision for anyone who learns to apply them correctly, regardless of their starting point or current circumstances. Your current moment of understanding represents a turning point that you will look back on as the beginning of your real life. Everything up until now has been preparation for what is about to unfold. Every experience has been developing within you the qualities necessary to handle the success that is coming your way. Every challenge has been strengthening your character for the responsibilities that come with greater achievement. The universe has been waiting for you to reach this level of readiness, this moment of openness to truth that transcends conventional thinking. Your struggles have not been punishments, but preparations. Your delays have not been denials, but divine timing. Your apparent failures have not been endings, but redirections towards something better than you originally imagined. What happens next in your life depends entirely on how seriously you take these principles and how consistently you apply them. This is not entertainment or intellectual stimulation, but the most practical knowledge you will ever encounter. These are the operating instructions for human consciousness, the user manual for your own creative power, the blueprint for designing a life that exceeds your current ability to imagine. Your time of small thinking is over. Your time of limited dreaming is finished. Your time of accepting less than you truly desire is complete. The intelligence that orchestrated your discovery of these principles is calling you to step into the fuller expression of who you were created to be. The only question remaining is whether you will answer that call with the commitment it deserves. As these words reach the depths of your consciousness, something profound is shifting within you. You can feel it, can't you? That stirring of recognition, that awakening of possibilities that have been dormant too long, that rising awareness that you have been living far below your true potential. This is not the end of a video, but the beginning of your real education in the laws that govern human achievement. The student has finally become ready, and the teacher has appeared exactly when you needed the lesson most. The journey you are about to embark upon will challenge everything you thought you knew about how success works, but it will reward you with capabilities you never knew you possessed. You will discover that the power you have been seeking in external strategies and techniques has been within you all along, waiting for you to recognize it, claim it, and learn to direct it consciously toward your highest aspirations. The universe has been preparing you for this moment through every experience you have lived, every book you have read, every conversation you have had. Napoleon Hill dedicated his life to revealing these principles because he understood that they represent the difference between a life of struggle and a life of fulfillment, between dreams that remain forever out of reach and dreams that become inevitable realities. You now possess knowledge that most people will never encounter, wisdom that can transform not only your own life, but the lives of everyone you touch. This is both a privilege and a responsibility that you must not take lightly. The synchronicity that brought you to this message is already working to bring you everything else you need for your transformation. Pay attention to the opportunities that appear, the people who enter your life, the ideas that inspire you, and the circumstances that align in your favor. These are not coincidences, but demonstrations of the same intelligence that guided you here, responding to the new level of awareness you have achieved through this understanding. Your old life ends here, and your new life begins now. The person who started watching this video is not the same person who is finishing it. You have been forever changed by encountering truth that resonates with the deepest part of your being. You can never again claim ignorance of your own power or blame circumstances for results that you now know you have the ability to change. The greatest tribute you can pay to this knowledge is to live it, to apply it, to demonstrate through your own transformation that these principles work for anyone who has the courage to embrace them fully. If this message has touched something deep within your soul, if you recognize the truth in these words, if you feel called to something greater than you have ever experienced before, then take action right now. Hit that like button to acknowledge your commitment to this new understanding. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these words as much as you did. Subscribe to continue this journey of discovery and transformation. Your future self is calling you to make these decisions right now, in this moment, while the inspiration is strongest and the truth is clearest. The time for half measures and hesitation is over. Your moment of destiny has arrived.